An unmonitored Kubernetes cluster offers no visibility into unpatched vulnerabilities or unauthorized lateral movement between pods. By deploying Red Hat Advanced Cluster Security, or RHACS, we surface this data, mapping every connection and scanning every node for risks. We are going to build this security infrastructure from the ground up, starting with the RHACS control plane, then installing local monitoring sensors, and finally connecting ArgoCD to automate our security roles. To begin, you need a cluster running OpenShift or Kubernetes version 4.12 or higher. You must have cluster administrator rights and a functional instance of ArgoCD already running. This setup allows us to manage security policies as code. Instead of manual configuration, your cluster security rules become a version-controlled, auditable baseline that applies itself automatically. Our first task is installing the software. Log into your cluster console, find the Operator Hub, and install the Advanced Cluster Security Operator. Leave the installation namespace set to the default, RHACS Operator. With the operator active, we need to deploy Central. Central is the management interface and the primary Postgres database for your entire security architecture. You must create a dedicated project for this deployment. In the namespace dropdown, ensure you have selected StackRox. This prevents the system from reporting vulnerabilities for RHACS's own internal processes. Next, use the operator to create the Central Custom Resource. A custom resource is a configuration file that tells the operator exactly how to provision the central services and database. Once the deployment is ready, you need the administrator password. Navigate to the Secrets menu in your cluster console and look for the secret named Central HT Password. Open the RHACS web portal and log in using the username admin and the password you just retrieved. You are now at the dashboard. While the management foundation is ready, Central is not yet receiving telemetry from your nodes. We need to deploy sensors to begin monitoring. To start monitoring, we install Secured Cluster Services. These are the sensors that track cluster activity, and they require a cryptographic trust relationship to communicate with Central. Inside the RHACS portal, go to Platform Configuration and select Clusters. Click the button to create a cluster registration secret. Name your cluster and download the generated cluster registration secret, or CRS. A CRS is a YAML file containing the authentication tokens the sensors need to talk to Central. Now, use your command line interface to apply this CRS file to the StackRox namespace on your cluster. Be careful here. If you apply this secret to the wrong namespace, your sensors will be unable to initialize and fail to report data. Now go back to the operator interface in your cluster console and create the Secured Cluster Custom Resource. When you configure the endpoint for a central instance on the same cluster, use the internal service address, central.stackrock.svc:443. This allows telemetry to flow directly to the central engine. Once saved, the portal dashboard populates with active metrics, confirming sensors are successfully transmitting data. Your cluster is now actively monitored. Any activity that deviates from standard security configurations will be detected and logged in the dashboard. With telemetry established, we can now configure the RHACS Kubernetes controller. This component allows you to ingest security policies formatted as custom resources directly from your repository. We will use ArgoCD to manage this. Create a new ArgoCD application and point it to a Git repository that contains your security policy definitions. Ensure the sync destination is set strictly to the StackRox namespace. As ArgoCD synchronizes the files, the RHACS controller detects the new policy and updates the local database. Trigger the sync in ArgoCD and verify that the application status is healthy. You can now see the new policy listed in the RHACS portal. It is active, enforced, and tracking your cluster's compliance with that specific rule. Managing rules this way prevents configuration drift. Your security posture is version controlled and instantly applied to the cluster whenever you update your Git repository. In just a few steps, we moved from a blank cluster to an environment where every workload is validated against a central policy engine. By combining the full RHACS architecture with an ArgoCD pipeline, we have established both deep visibility and automated enforcement. Next, you can integrate your image registries for vulnerability scanning, or generate authentication bundles to secure remote clusters. This setup ensures that security is a continuous, built-in property of your infrastructure, responding automatically as your code evolves.